of dreams, colors come alive. Chameleons changing the two are alike. Inspired to learn about the world outside. Here I go, on a journey wild and wide. Microscope zoom in a whole new sight. Madagascar beckons, it's a magical flight. Exploring the wonders with eyes open wide. I'm on a quest with knowledge as my guide. Woodworking hands shaping dreams anew, creating beauty from the depths of truth. Building bridges, connecting old and new. Crafting tales that will touch hearts through.
I got my chameleon back when he was small. Watched him grow up, colors covered the wall. I played pretend, act like I don't see, so he won't get scared, just let it be. But when a tasty bug comes around, he'll come out bold. Can't hide on the ground with his colors shining like a neon sign. Chameleon rock, he's a sight to find. Chameleon rock, he's a sight to find. Chameleon rock, changing every day. Colors collide in a vibrant display. He's a rhythm chaser, climbing up high. Chameleon rock, he's the star of the sky.
Well, hello, Chameleon Academy. Wonderful to have you here. Wonderful to be here. And, I actually forgot to set up this live session last night like I'm supposed to. And so this setup just came up just a couple minutes ago. And actually, I'm interested. Could you let me know? Does that affect you? I mean, how do you find this live session? Do you just know to come to the YouTube channel at this time and you click on it, or do you do the notifications? How do you, I want to make sure I serve my audience the best way possible. How do you find this show? Let me know. And Steve, Kiki Beachy here. What the heck? What's going on? Alicia, very good to see you here. Even if you've got to go to work, we understand that work thing. And we'll be here if you want to jump in every now and then. Oh no, Eliza can't be here? Oh, hey. Well, let's see. All right. Well, Eliza, we've got the Cluminati message coming up real quick. So I'll take care of that. So Alicia scavenger hunts it. That's how Alicia finds it. Gosh, there's got to be a different way. You can do notifications, and what I can do is I can commit to have it up by Wednesday, and that way you guys can set notifications, although I think it only gives you notifications here. What the heck? Looking at about 107. What the heck, James? Why are you doing that? Yeah. So let's see. So, no, we tend to frown on water features, but how about an advanced DIY for expert level DIY, like out of the ordinary? The thing is, those advanced people have tried to do water features in chameleon cages, and you can do it. They can be successful. The thing is, once the person does it, they realize how much work goes into it, and all the chameleon does is use it as a toilet. And so we eventually get tired of doing it. So it's not that it can't be done, it's just there's an enormous amount of effort that goes into setting it up and keeping it clean. Whew, yeah, we've all tried it. It's a great idea. But, and I also would say that as our normal cage sizes get bigger, I believe that that's going to open the door for more and more people to try different things and go back and try to do the things that we quotes haven't been able to do before and be successful. And so this is as our herpetoculture moves forward, we should go back and reevaluate the things that we've said don't do in the past. Absolutely valid. We shouldn't go back and say, oh, they were stupid, they just didn't know how to do it. No, they were, all of us, everybody was dealing with what we knew back then, what we were working with back then, and that all changes. And so us being able to do it in the future doesn't mean that the people in the past didn't know what they were doing. But we should definitely try again. So all right, actually Nick is here, and you know what, I promised everybody that we'd see some baby carpet chameleons today, Nick's babies. And so let me bring up some of those babies. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Before that, I want to go into our homework. Yes, you all, we have homework. You see there at the bottom, it says, "This message brought to you by the Illuminati." Those crazy Illuminati are sending me messages, and so it's best that I pass this on to you for my own safety. And what we would like to do is send appreciation to Summer Winston, who created the SHAP and has been definitely active within the reptile community, both in Instagram and TikTok and on my podcast. Summer has come on and given so much to the community. And Summer produced the next generation pet store. It's amazing. It was an example of what the future could be. And then got the devastating news that there was this zoning problem. And so the SHAP had to close down, which was a huge blow to Summer. And let's just bring up, this is the kind of stuff that Summer, just to remind you who Summer is and the things that Summer has done on this show and has given back to the community. Talked about roaches and bioactive. And there we go. That's the interview where we talked about the next generation pet store. So Summer is active both on Instagram and on TikTok. There's the Instagram, there's the TikTok, and your homework. Please, this is beginning of the month. We like to do this with the Illuminati, is to spread some positivity in the community. And this week, we'd like to recognize Summer and the things that Summer has done. And so your homework for today, and you can even do it right now, is go to either the Instagram account or the TikTok account, follow the SHAP, SHAP, and give Summer a message of encouragement saying, hey, it's just simple as, thanks so much for all you do for the community. Looking forward to seeing more from you. Because right now, Summer is having to recover from this incredible, I mean, imagine building your dream pet store and then having to tear it down. That's devastating. And so Summer needs some time to recover from that. But it wouldn't hurt for all of us to go onto either the Instagram or TikTok account, send a private message and say, thanks for all you do. Looking forward to when you return. So that's your homework. Please go out. Let's just make it's just a little something that we can do to make this community a positive place to be. And when one of our own takes a hit, we've got to be there to support them. So let's see if we go to the chat here. Oh, okay. All right, we're doing a lot of talking about stuff here. And oh my gosh, the water feature just went all over. So anyway, that's your homework. Please do that. And when you do something, let me know. Let me know that you did it. That would be wonderful. So, all right. So we need to go back to, let's go to the chat, and then we can go on to looking at the carpet chameleons. Let's see. James has tried several times, even set up where it's a separate area, but it's just such a nightmare to keep clean. That's generally what we end up with when we talk about water features. Working with other reptiles. I mean, every reptile is going to be different. So, I mean, some reptiles require a water feature. So, yeah, when we say don't do the water feature, that is for chameleons only. Other reptiles, everyone is different. Everyone is different. Let's see, Kiki did a water feature, but only runs it when company is over. Okay. Stephanie is using the tips from the DIY Chameleon guys. Excellent. All right, Kiki, we need to see your water feature. So yeah, Kiki, you got to post this kind of stuff. We need to see it. So find me a baby pied. It shouldn't be too hard to find a pied veiled out there somewhere. So, but if I see one, I'll let you know. All right, we need to take a look at baby carpet chameleons. Share screen. There we go. All right, let's take a look at these cuties. These are from Nick's group that's been hatched, and many are still hatching. Robert, your chameleon people are doing great, and we're glad to see you. More babies. I'm just going to keep scrolling through these on a regular basis here. And yeah, okay. You need it from a reputable. Okay, well that gets more tricky. Two Turtle Tom, oh my goodness. There is the individual keeping. Bill, did you get my email with the 4x4 to show everybody? Yeah, Bob, what you sent me was bathed in pink. That looks, I need something that looks naturalistic. Yes, I did get them. Sent you reply back, but give me one that doesn't look pink, and it looks pretty good. But we need one that looks green. So let's see more. Share this tab instead. There we go. So what I'd like to show about this, this is the Unzarium, Nick, who's in the chat. And what I love about these enclosures is you're getting one chameleon per enclosure. That little baby is having the entire enclosure to themselves. This is a naturalistic enclosure. See all those grasses? And we're exploring with the idea of having these grasses in with babies, and it's working great. Michael Nash is the one that's really pioneered that. And other people have said, yeah, this is great. And obviously Nick has said, let's do this. And what you're finding is that more and more of breeders are raising their babies like this instead of just a sterilite tub with 30 of them all packed together. So this is what I'm encouraging you, really. We decide what kind of community we want. And if we go and specifically support breeders that can show that they are keeping their babies like this, that's what we're going to have in the future. If we say, yep, I'm going to go with Nick because this is how he's keeping his baby carpet chameleons, and I want to buy a carpet chameleon that was raised like this, that was enriched from the beginning instead of just, breathing, then that is what the future breeders will do. But if we see things like this and we say, yeah, that's great, but then we go with the cheapest and we actually pay money to the person that offers it cheapest to us, then that's what we're going to end up with, the cheapest stuff in the future, where the husbandry isn't that great. So I'm encouraging you, check out your breeders, check how they raise their babies, and go out of your way to vocally and financially support the breeders that are doing it right. So I'll keep harping on that. That needs to be something that we all internalize, because so often when we start shopping, we get into that mode of price shopping. And once again, if we just go with the lowest price, that is all we'll have. If you guys remember when Borders bookstore, it's a big bookstore like Barnes & Noble, Borders bookstore closed down, had to close down. And once Borders bookstore closed down, there was these online petitions circulating. Let's just sign this petition to keep Borders open. Well, you don't keep Borders open by signing an online petition. You keep Borders open by buying books from Borders instead of Amazon. If you buy everything from Amazon, then in 10 years, Amazon's all we've got. Now, yes, I buy a lot from Amazon, but just realize that how we choose to use our money in the chameleon community dictates what the community is going to look like in 10 years. So this is the kind of stuff that I want to see in the future. All right. Yep. I mean, Nick is showing he's raising them the way they should be raised. And that's why, and I'd like to encourage anybody who's thinking about breeding. I want to encourage you. See, this is the thing with new breeders. If you've just started off breeding, you're nervous about, you want to do what you want to be successful, and so you want to follow in the footsteps of the people who have been successful before you. But unfortunately, in chameleon raising, the people who have gone before you are using husbandry that's 10 to 20 years old. That's because when a breeder starts something and then they go to scale, it's very difficult to totally uproot all of that and change it to the latest husbandry. And so if you're going to be starting breeding, be brave and start with the best husbandry now. There's a number of people that are doing this. People who are individually raising are breaking the mold of what was gone on before. And so that cycle is being broken, which it needs to be. And so we're not going to be changing. The people who have spent 10, 20 years breeding and keeping babies together, we're not going to change them. They're stuck. And so what we need to do is just go forward. And if you're going to be starting breeding, Go forward with the best husbandry, not what's been done before. What's been done before was designed for production numbers to be able to produce and move a great number of chameleons through a small space. That's we're past that. We had to go through that stage, absolutely, but we're past that now. Okay, we are now, we have to go past that, and the breeders of today will not be able to produce as much as the ones that are doing group raising. That's just a fact. And so what we've got to do as a community is we've got to make up for that by being willing to pay more for a better product. So I'll just let that sit right now. Just know we are absolutely in control of the community we're going to have in 5-10 years. And it's the wallet that speaks, not our post on social media, not our telling people what to do. It's where we actually spend our money. Okay. So please go out, find breeders that show their husbandry and can show something like this. Hey, Dylan. Always try to support the small guy first, especially with bug purchases, but dang, Amazon is so easy to do. Yes, it is. But I will say there is a difference between the things we buy from Amazon and the reptile community. Like if I'm going to be buying spray foam, okay. I don't know who would I support other than Amazon, Home Depot. I don't know. But with reptile products, we can see the direct result. If someone has just been raising babies and selling them for $200, but then someone is individually raising them and selling them for $300, if we make the decision we are going to go for the $300 one, then we are making a significant difference. And we see the difference because next year, the person that is individually raising is still there because they've been supported in what they've been doing. And the people who start breeding are seeing this and saying, okay, I don't want to start at the $200 level. I want to start at the $300 level. And for that, it's individual raising. It's checking each one of these guys, their fecals, to make sure they're parasite free. These are value added. These are serious value added, not just fluff stuff. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We've got Yvette from Misting Mountain Fans. Hello, Yvette. Hello. There she is. Oh. The chameleons normally still have gravid colors after laying eggs. Usually not. I wouldn't say never, but that usually not. So if you still have gravid colors after they lay eggs, I would be concerned. Maybe that's a good time to go in for an x-ray just to make sure all the eggs are out, because if there's a reason why there's an egg or two left over and they didn't come out, that will be life-threatening. Eventually will be life-threatening. Well, in the near future. So it's worth it to go to the vet, get an x-ray if you have reason to believe that there may be eggs left. So on work days, I'm only home and awake for a few hours before dawn and a few hours in the afternoon. Would it stress a chameleon if I covered the enclosure for all but a few hours a day? Oh, interesting question. Why would you cover the enclosure? Well, what's going on in the room that you want it covered? Because they can do fine hanging out in a home and never seeing you. They'll be fine with that. And so you can do your chores whenever you're there, but why would you want to cover the enclosure? Let me know what the context of this is. The question, can you cover the cage? Well, yeah, if he's got his lights and everything on the inside, he should be fine. But I think there's more to the story than I recognize. If it wasn't for the work, research, and efforts from Michael Nash, Kevin Stanford, yourself, Bill, as well as a few others, I would not be as successful as I have been. Huge thank you to you guys. And that's exactly how it should be. All of the hard work that me, Michael, Kevin have done before, and Jonathan Hill was big in this, you should all use that. That is, those are stepping stones for you. Everything that I do here is meant to be a stepping stone. It's not meant to be a monument. It's meant to be a stepping stone. And that's the same. I know Michael feels that way. Kevin is proud to see where people have gone with what he has started. And that's please use everything that we have experimented with and provided, and use that to usher in the next generation. That's everybody's job, is to move us forward. What the heck? Hockey season? I'm competing with hockey season. Bill, what's this model of AmScope you recommend? It's time for me to get a compound microscope. You know, AmScope has so many different models. It's downright annoying to try to figure it out. I really just go by feature. And I mean, I do have one that I recommend, but I recommend it because I just chose this. It was a convenient one. There's so many different AmScope models, like the B120 is a good. The B120C has everything that we need. The basics. It has the objectives that we need. It's LED transmitted light, mechanical stage, and you can find a version that has a 3D camera. So that's, you know, B120C. But really, you can go to Amazon and start. And you know what? Here, I should have a link. Oh, actually, Two Turtle Tom. Wait a minute. You are Two Turtle Tom. You are on the. You are on the virtual campus. Sign up. Go back onto the virtual campus, and at the beginning of the course, there is a download. At the beginning of the Parasite course, there is a PDF download of the first lesson that has a complete shopping list, including microscope, and they're linked. So you just press it. And if you can't find that, let me know, and I will be happy to send you the link and make sure you get that. So yeah, definitely use that. You've got access to that resource, so you don't even have to ask this. You've got it. Yeah. So if anybody's interested in microscopes and stuff, know that in the course you get a handout. It's really a booklet that gives you everything you need, microscope and all the equipment. It's got links. So, okay. So there's a question, Bill. I saw you answer on The Enthusiast. Panther chameleons do not lay eggs unless they're fertile. Is this the only species? Why do veiled lay infertile eggs? Okay. Infertile clutches. Every chameleon has the potential to lay infertile clutches for whatever reason. Only the veiled chameleon has been so easy to lay infertile clutches in captivity. It's because of the way we keep them, the temperatures we keep them at, the food that we give them, and so we're just supercharging them. And for whatever reason, veiled chameleons, when they are supercharged, they'll just lay eggs. And so we've got the female into a super production stage. I don't know why the veiled chameleon is the one that is susceptible to this and the other ones aren't. It's just, that's the way it is. So like, it's a challenge to have a veiled chameleon female and her only produce 20 to 30 eggs, and her only to produce when she's fertile. That's just something about the species. You go to other species, they don't have that problem. Now you can produce that problem, but you got to try. In a veiled chameleon, it's like no matter how hard you try, you may still have that problem. and don't know. I don't know why the veiled chameleon. What is it about the veiled chameleon that produces this? But we just know because we've had many decades of observing this problem and trying to change it, trying to get it to stop. Don't know why. Let's see. Hey, hi, Marta. Hey. Chirp leaves infertile clutches every 3 months. Yep, that sounds like a veiled. It can do that. I had my female veiled chameleon. I was able to get her to not lay any infertile clutches except 1 year. Boom. All of a sudden gave me an infertile clutch. It's like, come on. I was doing so well for many years. All right. Geraldine says it would be in my bedroom and I turn on some dim lights on before dawn. Plus, I don't want the light to disturb my sleep. I was concerned that uncovering it suddenly might disturb the chameleon. Yeah, you're going to have to, they want 12 hours of light. And so you just have to figure out what 12 hours you want to give them. I'd have to ask details to help that, but I mean, you're there. And no, you can cover the chameleon's cage, but if it's light outside, the chameleon will probably see the light. And I don't know how effective it would actually be to keep them asleep, but you can play with that. But it's a good thing. If you need to, it's a good thing to think about. Yeah, I don't know why. It just like all of a sudden it seemed like people were saying that they were concerned that a panther chameleon female was not laying infertile clutches, and so these are the trends. This is what happens in the community is we notice something, and in this case it was infertile clutches by veiled chameleons, and we warn about it so much that it becomes a soundbite, and then people start repeating it without really having experienced it, so they don't know what they're repeating. They just know it's good that they're repeating it, and that's true. But then how information just mutates as it goes from one generation to another. That apparently has mutated into it's normal for chameleons, not just veiled chameleons. Chameleons, not only is it normal for them to have infertile clutches, it's worrisome if they don't. And so that was a bridge too far for me. Because wait a minute, because when these things get out of hand, they just keep getting repeated. People start internalizing them and start really defending them. And I end up, so many of my podcasts are because of things made up on social media that were just literally pulled out of thin air and then talked about as if they were fact. And they're not. Like the whole idea about veiled chameleons needing higher UVB. That literally was something pulled out of thin air by some guy who didn't even have a solar meter, had no idea what he was doing. He just was an admin on one of these social media groups and just spread that around, and nobody challenged it. And so it was just a he said, they said, and it became a big thing until I actually had to do a 9-month experiment to show that no, there is no, they're not high UVB. Peter Netchas, who actually went to Yemen, said, no, they're not high UVB. So you have all of this real information saying, no, they're not high UVB. And yet you go on to Facebook right now and you will see people parroting that back saying, yeah, they're high UVB. They need 12% UVB. So this is what happens when these sound bites get out of hand. And so, yeah, we gotta nip it in the bud right at the beginning, because people don't understand why they're saying this. They just know that it's right, and they'll fight you for it, even though they have no idea what they're talking about. So, when we see those kind of things, at least on the Chameleon Enthusiast, that is the only Facebook group that I hang out on, and Jackson's Chameleon community. Those are the only ones I hang out on. And I can't be, I'm not going to police all the other groups. And it's just when something ends up seeps into the Chameleon enthusiasts, that's where I'll say, wait a minute, let's make sure this doesn't have legs. So that's the only Facebook group that I can really stand behind and say, okay, I think they got good information there because I'm there. Hey, thank you, Captain Wiggins. Good to have you here. Bill, are you bringing a UV index reader to Madagascar? Oh, I don't know that I have to, because apparently James is coming. He's going to bring a complete weather station. He's going to bring everything. And so he's going to be recording every little bit. And so I think James is going to take care of that. But you know, I don't know. I may. I've always been cautious about producing numbers like that, because once you produce a number and put a number in black and white, people create context that may or may not be there. And so I got to be really careful with saying, I went to the wild and this is the number I got. So yeah, okay, James is there. James is, yes, we will be having all sorts of stuff, and we will be making sure to record context along with the numbers. It's rough to watch some Facebook groups, the info that gets spread around there that makes it hard for some to raise chameleons. It's not the chameleons themselves. Yeah, Facebook has been a double-edged sword. It's just made information so easy to get, and you're able to talk to people, but there's absolutely no standard. Anybody can start a Facebook group and say, the best chameleon Facebook group. People join up and start asking questions, and all the admin has to do, who started it, is just start answering questions, whether they know what they're talking about or not, and they are seen as an expert. And the more people see them as an expert, the more they say, yeah, I'm an expert, and the more they act like an expert, and it just snowballs. And so anybody can start a group, and guys, this is something that's just going to get worse and worse. And it's not just social media groups. When I say worse and worse, I mean complete websites made from our AI already is there. We already have websites made from AI, YouTube channels made from AI, and they're just pulling in garbage information and mixing. Here's the thing: they're mixing garbage information with good information. I know they've assimilated my website, and so you're going to be getting stuff from the Chameleon Academy mixed in with complete garbage, but it's said with such authority that it's really tough. If you don't already know what's going on, it's really tough to say, hey, wait a minute, this is garbage. It's going to get really murky out there. The best thing to do is to learn who the people are. Who's the author? If you can't figure out who the author is, huge red flag. And if you have a name, but then you Google that name and that name doesn't exist out of this thing that they've created, a huge red flag. I mean, we've got websites where, yeah, you can find the name and maybe there's a picture of this person, but when you figure out what has this person done, well, they've had one chameleon 7 years ago and they decided to start a website for ad revenue. Okay, so no, this is not the information you're looking for, because all they're doing is they're taking information from other sources. And, you know, some of these take from my website, they take stuff that they see off of Facebook. So what you're getting is this soup of other stuff that's just presented on the plate. It's not from the people who originally put it together. You go to the people who originally put it together. And there's just a handful of people out there like that. So it takes a while to find them, but it's worth it. I happen to be one of those, by the way. Yes. So, yes, hygrometer. That's the fun one. That's the fun one. And the heat gun. Yeah, the hygrometer, the humidity is a big one because we're really working on figuring out hydration for chameleons and making it better and better. That's one of the big things that I'm working on. Yeah. I should start a Facebook group and call it "What's Good Information and What's Bad Information." Then I'll finally start getting attacked. Yeah, James, come on, rock the boat a little bit, have some fun. Oh, oh boy, now Exotic Bobs wants us to take a thermal camera. I think that sounds cool. We need one, but not in the budget this year. Oh, well, James, when you go back in 2026, we'll look at bringing one. So yeah, so everybody, you think James is going to go back in 2026? It's going to just make that a yearly pilgrimage. I think he oughta. And interesting, I'm just going to throw this out. Is anybody here actually seriously thinking about doing a Madagascar trip in 2026 if I do this trip again in 2026, which I my guide has already blocked out the time in 2026, so he thinks that I'm going, and I don't see why I wouldn't. So if there are people if you're thinking about going to Madagascar and you think January 2026 is a good time for you, let's start thinking about it seriously. It won't be I won't officially open up the sign up until end of January, beginning of February. But let me, just throw out, let me know if you're interested. Let me know what kind of interest is out there. Well, let's see. Now you've got me going back. Well, yeah, your place is already reserved. Apparently, somebody signed you up for at least for a 2-tour duty. Oh, come on. You'd only have that cash on you for like 2 days. No, but it's a great experience. It's fun. And you get to what's so very cool about it is how much you can see with so little effort. I mean, literally road herping in Madagascar, you can see amazing things. And it just gets more amazing when you take boats and stuff. So but you'll all see it. You'll all see it because we're going to be sharing as much as possible and bringing you all along with us. And so, all right, let's see. Updates in the Chameleon Academy. First of all, the 3 little baby brevicorn are doing awesome. I'm going to be doing a photo shoot with them and get some new photos for you. So they are wonderful. I'm very glad about this. Steve Hefner has a second brevicorn that's hatched. And so, hey, assuming that they're not all male or not all female, we're going to have our chance for true F2 brevicorn coming up, which would be a very cool thing for our community. So let's see. We really want to go in 2026, but don't know if I'd be allowed to take the time off work. Definitely won't have that much PTO available, but I might be able to get some unpaid time off. Yeah, that's tough. And Geraldine, especially for us in the United States, where we typically get only 2 weeks, and most Madagascar trips are 3 to 4 weeks. That's why mine is the American version, where mine is like 14 days. I keep it about 2 weeks. It gives a little bit more with travel time, but I keep it at the American time length, and that's my that's my point of differentiation. Bill, does your guide do trips to the southwest portion of the island to see the radiated tortoise and spiny forests? He does, since those are, I don't do that in my trip because the thing is, the southwest portion, you really need to dedicate time to go there. Madagascar is a big place, and the reason you either keep it northern, central, or southern, or else you extend it out. And so even the boabab trees, those are too far out from where we're going. So there's a lot to see in Madagascar. We go from Ranamafana to Palmarium, which is like at the southern tip of the panther chameleon range. So we get Ranamafana, which is your shamrock chameleons, and Parsons chameleons, and we go through Parsons chameleon range and get up to the southern tip of panther chameleon. So that's a nice, good chunk of the chameleon species that we're familiar with here in captivity. But yes, he does do things all over Madagascar. So he'd be able to help if you wanted to. Bill, my daughter and I were kicking it around the Madagascar trip. Are the people friendly? Is it ethical to buy a wild-caught chameleon? The people are very friendly. This is ecotourism. They are designed for ecotourism there, and the people are very friendly. So there's no there's no danger from the people. They're curious about you, your foreigners, and the stuff. So they're curious. Got to watch out for pickpockets because that's the danger all over the place. They see you as having money, and so you will be mobbed when we are in the city. There will be people trying to sell you stuff, and so you got to just keep your wits about you. But there's no kidnapping or gangs or roving militias or things like that we have to worry about. And there's no internal strife going on. So it's quite as safe as going to any place really is. Is it ethical to buy a wild-caught chameleon? Are you talking about in Madagascar? I mean, you don't have to buy anything in Madagascar. There'll be chameleons on the trees, but you can't bring it home because they're CITES, and we're not set up for collecting chameleons. And so we can't take anything with us. Now, if you're talking about, is it ethical to buy a wild-caught chameleon here in the States? I don't answer that question based on ethics. It's situational. I would say it's not a good idea if you want to enjoy a chameleon, don't get a wild caught. Leave the wild caughts for the breeders. The breeders are the ones that need that blood and are willing and able to work through the acclimation process, deparasitization, working with a chameleon that isn't used to being in a cage. That's not the stuff that you want to deal with. Get one that was raised in captivity, and the only thing they know about humans is that humans always bring them food. I mean, that's the way to start off. So ethically, it's not ethical if you don't know how to take care of a wild-caught chameleon. James is sharing his secrets for getting to Madagascar. If I get them to agree to it, I'm going to ask for it in right. That's right. That's right. Oh. It's an experience you'll never forget. This is correct. This is absolutely correct. Even now, last time I went, when I went 2 years ago, I'm still remembering parts of it. It's incredible. So, okay, let's see. It's all about that. Not a scientist, just a carpenter growing in Madagascar with some equipment. There you go. All right. M. Davis, thank you very, very much, M. Davis. Get a mosquito net. Oh, wonderful is every hotel there has mosquito nets over the bed. So, well, except there was one, but you're supposed to close the window. I forgot to close the window, and boy, did I get eaten up that night. Uh, Earplugs to help with James Cross 10 hours into your flight. Yeah. you saw that James said he was going to be talking my ear off for 10 hours. That's okay. I need that kind of distraction. Every time I go on an airplane, like a long distance, 10 hours, I think, oh my goodness, I am going to get so much done. How much can you get done with 10 hours of just sitting there with nothing else to do? I am going to be so productive. I'm going to be writing episodes. But when I get on an airplane, it's like my brain fogs up. It's like, oh, I just want to survive this. And then when I'm typing, it's like I'm typing like a little T-Rex because of the armrest, and I'm hoping that the guy in front of me doesn't recline so it breaks my iPad. And it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it rarely is as productive as I hope it will be. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, if I have James with me, then I can listen to him, and then I can complain to somebody. I can grouse about being stuck on an airplane. And so actually I think James is next to me on the Paris flight to Antananarivo. So we'll talk about all the new things we're going to be doing in the Chameleon community here. And M. Davis, thank you very, very much for the super chat. And as far as earplug, you know what? I'm going to put that towards noise canceling headset because mine broke and can't be charged anymore. I don't know if I can replace it or repair it or not. So, oh wow. Hey, Eliza's here. Just read Jane Austen. I wish I could read. Literally my brain fogs up. It's like, geez. So, perfect time to collaborate more on DIYs. Yeah, we'll come up with an entire year's list of DIY stuff. I think that's a perfect use for 10 hours on a plane. But yeah, I usually there is so much that this year was a foundational year. I know and many of you know that I do a reptile entrepreneur podcast, and I kind of like to do the entrepreneurial stuff in addition to my chameleons. But what I'm doing with the entrepreneurial podcast program is talking about what I'm doing with the chameleon world. And I took a break this year. I did 2 episodes, but I took a break. And one reason for that is that I am focusing on putting it together structure that I can talk about when I start back up. And I've did a digital course, started a community, and there's a couple more things that I want to accomplish. And so I can report back on how to do it. And so there's been a lot going on this year. And so next year you're going to be, and it's really laid the foundation for what I'm going to grow into next year. So hang tight. Let's hope that I make it through all of this so I can see all of everything come to fruition. So by 2025 should be a pretty interesting year for the Chameleon Academy. Yeah. Let's see. Currently, I like my job since I can listen to Chameleon Academy and other podcasts there. If I don't like as much in the future, I might be willing to risk my job for a chance to go to Madagascar. Well, you know what, Geraldine? You can always find another job. Madagascar is an incredible experience. And if you're going to go somewhere to go into the wild, third world type country, Madagascar is a perfect one to go through. It is relatively safe. No venomous reptiles. No mobs. And so there's always dangers. Always dangers. I mean, we could get in. You could plane accidents, car crashes, things that happen normally anywhere. So it's not like it's nirvana there, but um, if you're gonna go out, it's a pretty safe place to go. And we don't stay in luxury, but we don't camp. So it's actually a relaxing, and most of what we do is on the bus. And so we have day excursions, so you get that adventure. But it's a very easy way to go and see the wild areas. It's an incredible opportunity. It's like works so well. I'm going to do a video on what to do with your chameleons while you're away for 2 weeks. Yes, and it's going to be a montage of my beautiful wife. Is she still on? I don't know if she's still on, but when she goes back and watches this, she'll know. But really, that's the way we make it work. When she goes out somewhere, I stay here and I take care of her geckos and I take care of chameleons. And when I go somewhere, she takes care of all the reptiles, and we go back and forth like that. The real challenge is if her and I go together somewhere. Now that's a challenge. And we don't do too much of that. We are going to be away for one night in a week or two, and we've got all sorts of preparation going. Do we batten down the hatches? It's just one night, but boy, we are making preparations. Excited for the journey, Bill. Yes, Z-Mad scientist. And what's so cool about what we're doing here in this community is when we go to Madagascar, we're going to bring you all with us. Justin's at an air show. Is there an F-22 there or an F-35? I want to see one of those. So, okay, Roxanne's got to fix a fence. Ron, how much did the entire trip cost? Flight, stay, guide, and food. It's about, I'd say, $5,000 to $6,000. And that's for coming from the United States. If you're coming from Europe, it's a little bit cheaper because you're halfway there. But the guide, the entire trip, including the room, board, tours, and eating and all that kind of stuff, gets to be around $3,500, and then the flight could be $2,000. So there's no. It certainly is. It's not something you can just jump on. You got to plan for, and so it's. But yeah, it's good to have a year's amount of time to prepare for something like that. So I absolutely acknowledge that it's not easy to do, but if financially you can make it happen, you can save for a year. It's a wonderful trip to go through. So you're probably safe to take 10 GMB. Yes. Well, yeah, for $10,000. The thing is, when we're there, there's not much to spend on. We buy some stuff at convenience stores, and there is a jewelry store that we can stop by that you can get some Madagascar jewelry and see radiated tortoises there. But there really isn't much to spend money on where we're going. we don't go to the touristy places. We go to lodge type things, but your meals are included as part of the tour. So once you get there, like I'm going to change about $100 worth to Ari Malagasy money, and that should cover me. Now, also keep in mind tips. Madagascar is definitely a tip-driven culture, so make sure you're able to tip for things. In my particular package, tips are included, and I did this because I didn't want people constantly trying to figure out if they have enough money. So I've taken care of that, but just know that if you're doing anything, tips are, it's just a tip culture. I mean, we're a tip culture, so what am I saying? There's so much tipping going on us too. But there it's actually, yeah, I mean, what can I say? Seems like we're doing a lot of tip cultures, but just be ready for that. But other than that, I mean, we really don't, yeah, no souvenirs. There aren't, we don't do a whole lot of, there aren't a whole lot of touristy things. I brought back vanilla. You can do that as a souvenir. There are a couple of things like that. Everybody loves bringing back vanilla, but we stay to the outskirts of civilization mostly. Yeah. Oh. Oh. All right. All right, everybody. We're coming to the end. I will be okay. Things to keep in mind. First of all, new newsletters coming out on Thursday. We're going to be talking about veterinaries, working with your veterinarian. And on Tuesday, I'm going to be there Tuesday night that we are going to hang out on a live show. And next Thursday, I'm going to be announcing what's going on YouTube. I have a new show. It's not going to replace Chameleon Academy. It's going to be an addition. I've been trying to do too much on the Chameleon Academy channel, and it's a little bit confusing. And so I'm just taking a piece of what I've been doing and moving it to its own place. And so anyway, I will give all the details next on Tuesday or on Thursday. So wait. You'll be happy to hear that the other day while Zoe and I were walking Home Depot, we walked by the houseplant section. We went by some ficus, and she turns to me and says, Bill doesn't like ficus. Oh, it's not Chameleon Academy approved. Oh, and then we have the counter person. Ficus are the best, but I love that you're paying. Yeah, okay. And so me and James are going to be sitting next to each other on an airplane for 10 hours talking about ficus. Arguing about ficus. So I'm sure the flight attendants are going to have to come and say, keep it down. The people around you are complaining. So, all right, Joanne, very good to see you. And Eliza is back. All right, everybody, it's coming to the end. Thank you very much for joining me here, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.